The Duggars sat down for an interview with Megyn Kelly on Fox News in the wake of the scandal about their son being a molester. Let's watch.
Did you live in fear that it might come out?
I don't know that we lived in fear because we'd all resolved it. It had been forgiven. We moved on with life.
When you heard that in late May, that the story had broken, that you hadn't been given a heads up by any of the official police involved, that they were going to do this, what was your reaction?
I said, God, I know that there's a lot of families out there that are hurting. And you know what? This isn't something we wanted to come out. But if people can see that Josh, who did these very bad things when he was a young person, that God could forgive him for these terrible things, then I hope other people realize that God can forgive them and also make them a new creature.
Can I just have one real moment from people like this? I just like one real moment, one genuine moment of what they really think and what they really feel and what's actually going on. They're fucking, this dude's wearing his fucking Duggars with his iron shirt. She's sitting there like a Stepford wife. They're looking like they just came off the Leave It to Beaver set. And they're like, you know, we thought of God when this happened. Shut the fuck up, man. So when your family is involved, it's all about forgiveness now. Now they want the hippie Jesus involved. It's all about forgiveness. It's all about forgiveness. And I know whenever the shit hits the fan, every conservative ever screams, Jesus! Religion! God! Are you looking the other way yet? If I say religious things more, will you think I'm a good person and I'm sorry even though I'm not? They're not done.
Was there any motivation that you know of for this police chief to want to hurt your family?
I'm really not for sure.
There must be an agenda.
I'm not sure if there was a bribe or if there was some kind of personal agenda or something.
It definitely wasn't to be caring about the victim.
Any chance of you suing her or the city for this disclosure?
We're talking to some attorneys about that right now, and we'll see. But I think the big picture is protecting juveniles' records. And I think that's something that we want to be an advocate for, protecting juvenile records, because the mistakes that juveniles make when they're young should be sealed.
That's your takeaway from this? Not, hey, we should really take care of the victims of child molestation. You're circling the wagons and treating the perpetrator like the victim. The big injustice isn't the child molestation, it's that the records were released.
Suggested transgendered people might want to go into the bathrooms of girls, locker rooms of girls, and that they may be child molesters. Folks have used that in the past week against you, saying, how could you unfairly, in their view, compare transgendered people to child molesters, suggest they are child molesters, knowing what you know about Josh?
I think that protecting young girls and not allowing young men and men in general to go into a girl's locker room is just common sense.
Can you understand the critics' reaction to this news?
I can understand that, but I think I know that every one of us have done things wrong. That's why Jesus came. I feel like this is more about there's an agenda, and there's people that are purposing to try to bring things out and twisting them to hurt.
That's what you're doing! You're the ones with an agenda. All you do is preach about morality when you're incredibly immoral. Look at what your family is involved in right now, and understand, these guys publicly spoke out against gay marriage because, you know, family values, you gotta be moral, you can't let these gays get married, as their son is diddling little girls, including his sisters. They spoke out against LGBT non-discrimination clauses. Stay classy. Josh himself spoke out about protecting the children. Think about that one for a little. And then they also lectured Muslims for their treatment of women. You called yourselves the, quote, epitome of conservative values. What you don't understand, guys, is that you're the textbook definition of a hypocrite. But it's actually even worse than that. I wish there was a word which meant like hyper, ultra, another level hypocrite. Because you're judging people like transgender people and gay people who, they're not doing anything wrong. Gay people who are consenting with other gay people to get married or to have sex or have fun together or be in a relationship, nobody's getting hurt in that scenario. There's no harm and no foul. It's called freedom. People living their lives like they know they're supposed to and like they feel they should. There's nothing wrong with that. Trans people, they know what's going on. They could be born biologically male, but their brain is essentially female, or vice versa. There's nothing wrong with understanding and accepting that reality and loving yourself and living your life in accordance with that. So you're judging those people who did nothing wrong, but you're refusing to judge your son who did something very, very wrong. Child molestation is wrong. It's really, really wrong. Being gay or being transgender, not wrong. Molesting children, including your sister, wrong. You're judging the thing that's not wrong, and you're not judging the thing that's really, really wrong. So that's the problem here. And finally, she said, I don't know if you caught it at the beginning, it's common sense to keep trans people out of the bathrooms of their choice, but it's not common sense, apparently, to lock up your son. You know, I would say your son should have gotten punished more harshly. That would be common sense to me. And no, it is not common sense for trans people to go to the bathroom of their choice. They always try, the conservatives always try to do this, man. They try to make it seem like, you know, if you allow trans people to go to the bathroom of their choice, well, then there's going to be fucking anarchy, and you're going to have, like, 14-year-old kids, 16-year-old men walking to the women's bathroom just to look at what's going on in there. No. There's a difference between a trans person, somebody who was a man, became a woman, going to a woman's bathroom where they belong, and some jerk going in there to get their rocks off. And, oh, yeah, who would be one of those jerks that would go in there to see little girls in the bathroom? Let me think about it. Your son. Start judging him. Stop judging everybody else.